Hello everyone. Here's the next update for the Klipsch RP600m GR Research Upgrade Kit. If you remember from before, I had the first crossover network kind of assembled, still kind of flopping around on the board. I can report that I have since hot glued it down, and it seems to be pretty solid. Right now, whether this is a good option for lasting 20-30 years with just hot glue, I don't know, but I'll worry about that later. Again, I still have to hook these up and even see if these things work. So I'm comfortable with how solid these things are for the purposes of getting these assembled, getting these eventually hooked up after I take apart the speaker and start attaching the wires I need to attach here that go to the speakers and that go to the terminals. To see if everything works. I can always, improve it down the road. I'm obviously going to keep these things for the long haul. So here's the first network assembled. I got it labeled, like I said before, where all the stuff goes, so I remember. Even if I get confused, I can still look at the guide and go from there. So that's that. So for this update here, I really wanted to keep this relatively short and simple. I wanted to show just taking in the tweeter network. If you see here, there's the where this is going to the positive terminal, or both of these are going to the positive terminal. I have these twisted together because they both go to the positive terminal, and I'm not going to use these for bi-wiring. I'm basically going to have these structured to where it just goes to one terminal and powers everything. These are not speakers I'm going to be bi-wiring, or bi-amping rather. So I'm not worried about keeping them separate. So as you remember before, this is the tweeter network here, the tweeter path here. So the positive of the terminal goes here, and it goes here, and this is where the negative of the tweeter goes, and this is where the positive of the tweeter goes, and this is also where the negative terminal goes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show how we take this first capacitor, and I'll just call it like capacitor value A. I'm not going to say what the value is. Buy the kit, you'll know what the values are. And then that goes to the sonic cap here. So that's the first two things in the chain, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to very quickly kind of show you how we twist it together. And basically, you just kind of put it together and you just kind of twist it. It's not that hard, right? So you just, you want it to kind of be linear though. So you want to just kind of wrap it around each other like this so it gets a good connection, because the important part is going to be soldering it. So we're going to put this all together here, wire it around nicey nice, get it around good here. So we got a good connection. Kind of tighten it up here. I'm going to simulate the little angle I got it on. And we know it's going to kind of go like this. Again, right now I'm just going to solder it, just to show it to you for demonstration purposes. So I got it twisted together, right? I mean, it's going to slide around a little bit, which is another reason why soldering is good. You don't want it to do that. So I've already got my soldering iron. Oh, actually, hold on. I forgot to wet my sponge. Give me a second. I conveniently have a sink right here. There we go. You want to have a little wet sponge floating around so you can take your soldering iron and kind of cool it off if you have to. So now I got my solder here. I got my soldering gun already warming up here in the thing off to the side. I take out the wand portion of it. It should already be pretty hot. I've had it on for a while. I could feel that it's hot. Now, whenever you're doing something like this, you want to get the metal very hot before you put the solder on, because it's the hot metal that the solder is going to fuse to. So I'm going to just touch this and start getting it very hot. Right? It's transferring heat, from the element itself into what you're about to solder. So I'm getting that hot, and now once I get that pretty hot, I'm just gonna melt the solder right onto the tip and let it fall right on. And there we go. There you see a little smoke, and it's bonding you know, you got the metal hot, so it's bonding right to the whatchamacallit. Very simple. Actually, that one turned out really good. It's probably the best solder joint I've ever done, so I'm glad I got that on video. So the key is to get what you're soldering hot before you don't just, you know, plop it on and start immediately putting the solder on it. You hold it there for a while. You get what you're soldering on. Now, these are very tiny pieces of metal, so getting them up to a temperature good for soldering isn't going to take that long. So let me try this off here, put this back in here, turn my wand off because I'm only doing this video today. I'm not going to finish assembling this as of yet, but I just wanted to do this video to show twisting two things together and soldering it. And then, you know, once you twist everything else up together, like I did last time, what I did was I twisted everything together and then soldered after everything was on the board. Here, I just wanted to do this real quick as a demonstration and get this out for you. So there's soldering. So it's the first network completed with the hot glue, holding everything down. This is actually pretty, I'm shocked at how stable. This is what I was the most worried about, just hot gluing. There's still a part of me that might still drill 2 holes and tie this down with a twist tie just to do it, because, you know, this is standing up, but I might not. This is pretty stable. I mean, I got it down here to where you could shake it around and it ain't going anywhere. So now, inside of a speaker constantly vibrating, you know, I'm shaking it around to see if there's any vibrations or anything just blatantly moving around. I mean, I might put these into speakers and I might hear a vibration. That might drive me nuts. I say I put the chances of that being small, but if it happens, it happens, whatever. I'll deal with that then. But here's how we solder. This sucker's put together pretty good. You look around it and you just make sure, you know. Actually, if I look at the back side of it, I see there's a little bit of exposed metal on this side. So I'm actually going to, yeah, it's connected pretty good. I'm going to leave it be. It's fine. You just want it connected good. So we're going to leave that as is. Maybe I'll solder it better, I don't know. But that's soldering in a nutshell. Thanks.